Friday, Thunder Valley will be rocking as the wildest party in racing gets revved up in Bristol. Tune in as Mark Martin and Scott Speed stop by for some fun. NASCAR trackside from Bristol Friday. That's 11 Eastern right here on Speed. What a gorgeous sight it is.
What a gorgeous night, too.
Yeah. Motor Speedway. Beautiful night. Second caution has come out. This one for Josh Richards, and it looks as though Miguel Paludo had a little to do with the 51 going around.
Yeah, they had run side by side for about a half a lap, Rick, and when they got to turn one, check this out. As soon as Miguel turns for the corner, he's sideways.
You see him right there.
Right there, he's already out of whack.
Sideways. He's going to have to chase it. And then, boom, there's the contact right there. Listen to the tires now when he gets sideways. The tires were squealing on Miguel Paludo's, and then they were really squealing on Josh Richards' truck.
If Josh could have just heard those squealings, he would have went higher. You know, we were at Pocono, and you remember when Hornaday dove on the inside of Mark Martin? I talked to Mark the next day. I said, how did you keep from wrecking? He said, I just felt like he wasn't going to make that corner the way he was going at it. So Mark goes up way high and gives Ron room to save his truck. And that's what maybe a more experienced Josh Richards would have done. He would have moved up and given that cat a little bit more room.
Hermie, Phil, and Michael have talked about James Busher and his good run already this evening. Is tonight the night he gets to victory lane?
Well, these guys are very excited. The crew chief, Mike Shelton, has told him you need to run the top of the racetrack when you can, and they expect all the leaders to pit on the next caution. And when they do, they're looking at a right front air pressure adjustment. The 31 is free on entry, Rick.
Thanks, Harvey. Field all back in line, 2 by 2. The pace car is going to make a hard left turn onto pit road, leaving the field back in the hands of Elliott Sadler and James Busher making up row number 1. Sadler chooses the outside line. Green flag goes back in the air.
You'll see Brendan can pin down James Busher to the inside of the racetrack. See that South Point truck on the outside. He does keep him pinned down and see if he can clear him by the time he gets down here to the other end.
Brendan's preferred line a little bit off the bottom of the racetrack, trying to take that second spot away from James Busher across the stripe. It's Brendan gone in second, Busher back to third. Here comes Kyle Busch on the outside.
It's hard to believe that you can line up on the inside in the front row and that being a disadvantage on a restart.
At Bristol.
At Bristol.
Sorry.
3 wide at Bristol, just behind the lead trucks. It's getting a little crazy here early on in this one.
There is so much action on this little track. Look at this glob of trucks, and they were 3 wide last time coming off turn 4. Scared me.
Max Pappas on the inside of that 32 truck.
This is a small racetrack, and you cannot look everywhere you need to look for all the action. But where our cameras are going to have it.
Guys, you hear me say woo a minute ago? Let me show you what I was wooing at. Watch this move. Ross Chastain and Timothy Peters have both crashed once today, so I guess they said, well, we're going to be on it the rest of the day. Look at that pack of trucks.
Blake Feast right in the middle in that 32 truck. They made it 3 wide coming out of turn 4 at Bristol. Todd Bodine in the 5 truck, that Valvoline sponsored Toyota Tundra, came on to pit road. A few trucks did come down to pit road. The top 18 stayed on the racetrack, but Timothy Peters was on pit road. Todd Bodine was on pit road. Ross Chastain, Kligerman on back.
Timothy tried to go to the outside of the 20 truck. Johanna Long, I don't think she realized he was there. Now he's got a good run. He'll go ahead and make that pass.
Johanna Long qualified 14th in this one. And again, we talked about the 17 of Timothy Peters. That's a backup truck, so he had to start this race at the back of the field. Has already been on pit road and now working his way back up. He's running 18th.
And the reason he had to go to the back is because he did not get that truck out to practice. If the backup truck would have been able to practice before the end of practice, then they would have let him stay where he qualified.
What about Kevin Harvick? He's leaning on James Busher a little bit as they went down into turn 1. Harvick was saying, man, I need a little bit of space. Looks like he's going to tell him again. That's how you communicate.
With your bumper.
Yes.
You don't have a horn here.
Now at Daytona Talladega, you could be on his frequency. But here you're going to use the bumper.
Yeah, you have to. Harvick looks like he got a little aggressive there and faded back.
Look at the lead that Elliott Sadler has. 1.3 seconds in front of Kyle Busch, who's now running in the 2nd spot. Brendan Gaughan runs 3rd. Busher and Harvick, your top 5. Elliott Sadler has led every lap, 46 of the 200. He's been out front, but can Kyle Busch reel him in? Currently running 2nd.
Harvick brings the Hunt Brothers Chevy to pit road on lap 53. They like the way the truck is running. They've just been fighting track position. It'll be 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, and no adjustments for Kevin Harvick. Ray?
On the front end, Kyle Busch wants a track bar adjustment. They're going to go down 3/4 of a round. It'll be fuel and tires for that number $18 General Tundra. Brendan Gaughan really good on the entry to the corner, but not happy with the way it rolls through the center. They're going to make a wedge adjustment on that South Point Tundra. All the way down here in pit stall number 1, we see Elliott Sadler. He pulls in. Keep in mind, this is a truck that was built by Kevin Harvick Incorporated. It's from Joe Dinette Motorsports, and he said, I love the way the rear end is in the track, but it is just a little bit free on entry. Ernie Cope, his crew chief tonight, called for an air pressure adjustment. Pit crew from Hendrick Motorsports, but Kevin Harvick will be the first off pit road. Elliott Sadler is going to race Kyle Busch, and it'll be I don't know who got to the line first.
It was a good battle off of pit road. Again, they have to come on to pit road coming off of turn number 2 under caution. If it's a green flag pit stop, they can come in either side, whichever one that they are pitted on. Take a look at why we're under caution.
This was a couple of guys that got to pushing on each other. Looks like Jake Crum just clobbers the back of the 87 truck as he entered the corner. Chris Jones spun around and clobbered the wall, and he wasn't too happy about it. Watch him go.
He's going to chase down Jake Crum in the 0-1. He's going to run into him after the caution comes out. There's the contact right there. Timothy Peters got a little bit of a piece of that in the aftermath.
Watch this, just a bunt right in the back as they enter the corner. That's a terrible place to get hit. Your truck's a little bit light in the back anyway because you've gotten off the gas and down on the brakes a little bit, lifting the back end up. So just the slightest hit.
This is Miguel Paludo's onboard. That's what's happening right in front of him. He does a nice job.
What about Timothy Peters? He was all up in the middle of that.
Yeah, Timothy might have got a little bit of a piece of that. You're so vulnerable when you're entering the corner. That's the most vulnerable you are on this racetrack as you enter the corner. You're entering the corner as hard as you can enter it, and then he got pushed into the corner even harder, and that's why Chris Jones went around.
This was just, I don't appreciate that.
I don't think Chris Jones committed enough to retaliating there. I think he started to retaliate and then decided, okay, maybe I better not retaliate.
Experience tells me that probably saved him $5 grand or so.
Then as Adcock saying, just calm down. I understand it's hard to do, but calming down now would be good.
He's very upset. I'd find me a place to cool off because
they put so much effort into running an event like this, and Chris Jones had a pretty good truck in practice. He had some really good practice times. Ended up qualifying in the 24th position, which isn't bad at all. And to get taken out like that, we know how he feels.
You scrape, you save, you do all you can to get to Bristol, and you're out there racing with the stars of NASCAR, and somebody just, you feel like wrongfully took your chance away.
Tempers definitely flare. Well, September 11th, the NFL regular season begins with a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. First, the Falcons take on the Bears in Chicago as two of the NFC best go head-to-head. Then the Giants take on the Redskins in D.C. for other regional action. Coverage begins Sunday, September 11th with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL pregame show. That's at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
This is my year for the Lions. This is my year.
I thought you said it was a 50-year rebuilding.
This is the 49th of the 50-year rebuilding program.
All right.
Yes.
Jay White will bring him the green. Y'all guys remember back in 2009, he had 80-some laps here, so he's no stranger to the front of the field at Bristol. Used a little bit of pit strategy that night to get the lead too, but then took him forever to overhaul him.
What an incredible jump he got over Parker Kligerman.
They're already talking about pit strategy down on pit road. One of the slow trucks getting back up to speed. The 73 of Brian Johnson Jr. having some troubles.
Kyle Busch went right through the middle of them.
Kyle Busch trying to get up to the front. Out in front, it is Jason White, Parker Kligerman. They pitted on lap 32. Behind them, Harvick and Busch pitted under this most recent caution. So that's how quickly those two have got to the front.
I think Kyle Busch had designs about going on the outside of Kevin Harvick, and he's there now, right at the start-finish line.
Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch racing for the third spot. Busch on the outside makes a big run down the backstretch as they go into turn number 3.
He has a preferred line down on the outside of the racetrack. Seeing clear Kevin Harvick as they exit the corner.
Harvick all over the back bumper, and we've got caution coming out once again. This time,
Jake Crum clobbers Max Pappas.
Ricky Carmichael's involved on the outside. You see Jake Crum's 0-1 truck running into the inside wall. There's Clay Rogers, the 92.
Looks like Clay's going to get away without much damage, Phil.
See, very minimal damage. A lot of damage to Jake Crum's truck.
That was late when the guys were sliding down the front straightaway. Hit Max Pappas really hard. Chris Jones can now talk to Jake Crum.
Yeah, I think Jake will probably be in the garage area with him.
I think Chris will be waiting for Jake to make his way into the garage. Ricky Carmichael, unfortunate once again. Let's take another look at what just happened.
Oh, flat right front on that. Well, there was two crashes.
Yeah, the accident had already happened here. Looked like Jake came along and ran into the 9 of Max Pappas.
I think John King, it looked like blew a right front tire. Looked like they were racing side by side, maybe Carmichael and Pappas. Carmichael got loose down on the bottom and caused those two to crash. And then coming off turn 4, John King's truck just ran straight into the wall.
There's the initial incident right there.
I don't think King did anything wrong. I think that just was coincidence. I mean, I don't think he could have locked up his brakes and hit the wall like that. Do you?
I wouldn't think so.
Jake Crum will climb into the ambulance. We'll be back with more here from Bristol.